So let's look at this from a broad perspective, because dating is a process. You start out most likely complete strangers, and now you're expected to get at the end of this to becoming inseparable. So how does that happen? How does one go from one extreme to the other? From you wouldn't pick them out of a crowd walking down the street to this is now the center of your whole life, all within a short time period. So I came up with something called the ABC of dating. 3 main stages. Understanding that you have these stages, and each stage has sub-stages, allows a person to monitor, am I getting anywhere? Am I stuck on stage 1? When do I need to move from stage 1 to stage 2? I'm not going to go through all the details now, of course, but I'll give you the basic idea. The A stands for acquaint. When you're first meeting somebody, we're dating for marriage, so the first question is, are we suitable? Not, am I enjoying myself? Do I think her hair is cute? Do I think he's tall, dark, and handsome? All this is fine, but it's got to go way beyond that. What do I need to know to be able to establish suitability? Initially, it's on the base level. Are we basically on the same page in terms of broadly, where we're each coming from, and then in more detail, understanding the family, the attitudes, and stuff like that, and coming to view, this is kind of what I'm looking for. This makes sense for me. Once you've established that, you have no business being in that stage anymore. You need to graduate. You need to move on. You cannot keep doing this. Some people will go on a 4th date and a 5th date and are asking just endless detailed questions. You got the information you needed to answer whether it's suitable. Now there's a new show in town. It's called Bond. It's about building a connection. At that point, it's much more about getting comfortable with somebody, earning trust, sharing stories that have no actual practical utility, but only result in greater closeness and only demonstrate greater openness, including sometimes embarrassing stories, things you would never tell anybody else, about when you fell off your bunk bed when you were 6 years old, landed in a bucket of water or something. I don't know, right? You tell these stories, and I never told to anybody before, and he listens to the story, and thinks, wow, you shared that with me. That means there's closeness, there's trust, and it results in a reciprocal response. It's what's known in psychology as mutual self-disclosure. The essence of dating is mutual self-disclosure, the fact that people in a continual cycle of revealing more, being more open, more honest, more real. And that process can involve things which have theoretically no actual value in terms of information, like bowling or just going for a walk around the park and enjoying the scenery. But all of that creates a sense, I can be with this person and I can feel at ease. I don't feel nervous. I don't feel threatened. And you start to think, this actually feels pretty cool, right? I could live with this. And then you say, why would I not want this to go on forever? And then you realize, I'm done with that. Clear like each other, clearly established, we can communicate well. When we have disagreements, we resolve them in a healthy way. Done. You're no longer supposed to hang around in B because there's nothing more to be done there. You move to C, commit. You say, okay, I'm serious about this now. Are there any things I need to know or need to figure out or need to agree or finalize, things that maybe I pushed off because I didn't think it was, like, for example, I need to bring up that I actually have a job offer in Oklahoma and I'm seriously thinking about it, and I want to make sure that if I want to take this job, she's not going to bolt, or whatever it may be, or some other important final discussion. And if you can agree on those things, you propose, you actually commit. What often happens, especially people who are having a more complicated experience of dating, which is roughly 20% of people, they will struggle sometimes to go from B to C. They will say, look, it's cool. I'm not going to lie. We enjoy each other's company, but can I marry this person? I mean, is this it? Should I really just drop out of the dating world and just marry this woman or marry this man? That's a pretty big deal. I've only been at this for a few months. That's the second person I've ever dated. And I'm here busy deciding, but I know this is the right person for me of all the other billions of people on the planet. And people say, how do I know? So first of all, the things we can do to figure that out. What I will say to you is this. A person at some point has to cross an invisible boundary. That invisible boundary, in psychology, is called crossing the Rubicon. It's recognizing that you have to stop asking if I want this relationship, whether I want this relationship, and say, okay, I definitely want this to work out. How can I do so? Clearly, I'm not ready. What's missing? In other words, to go from, which is how you should start when you date, guilty until proven innocent. Probably not going to marry this person. Realistically, statistically, most people don't marry the people they date. It's roughly, let's say, 1 in 5 in the shidduch system who end up marrying. So that means 4 out of 5 times. Sorry, right? It didn't work out. And then you reach a point where it's innocent until proven guilty. Now, it's the other way around. You have to have a reason why not. There is obviously so much going on here. I don't just mean, paper adds up. I'm talking about even in terms of the quality of the relationship. This is obviously what you would want. If you're still having difficulty doing so, that's because there's something getting in your way. Figure out what it is and address it. Don't make it into a question of whether this person is suitable, because most likely that person is. Work out what it's going to take to get past whatever it is that's holding you back. Wow. And I'll just give you one way of looking at it. It's a little different. The dating trajectory is a journey from me. I'm single. I make my own decisions. Nobody tells me what to do. To you're completely united with another person, and now all of a sudden everything is together. It's a total transformation. It's like major brain surgery. If you think about it, the M and the W are basically the same thing. If you take an M and you turn it upside down, you get a W. It's turning your whole life upside down to go from me to we. And not everybody enjoys being turned upside down. Think about it. You're literally having your life upended. Wouldn't you think, 1 second, slow down. I'm not sure if I want to be upside down right now. I'm quite kind of used to being this way. And people can say, 1 second, this is unsettling, and it is. Most people say, yeah, a roller coaster is fun. I want to be upside down. I want to have that experience. This is what I'm looking for. That's why I started dating. For some people, once they get to that point where they start realizing they are literally having their life change from inside out, there can be a backlash. And you say, I don't understand, but you said you wanted to date this person. You said you wanted to marry. Yeah, but now I'm experiencing it. I don't know what to do with myself. People that go through that, and they often think, I don't feel ready to marry this person. No, you don't feel ready to deal with the consequences of what you started. Better you figure that out rather than start making out as if it's something to do with the person you're dating, because most likely it's not. I've asked now hundreds of people this question. What is the purpose of dating? What are you going there to do? And I have not had one person not answer me one version or another of the following. I'm going there to see if I like him or I like her, or whether I would be interested in marrying him or marrying her, or some variation of the same thing. And despite the fact that 100 out of 100 tell me this, they're all wrong. That is not the main reason why you go on a date. In fact, most of that you could find out without even meeting the person. Most things you would want to know about the person, you could find out some other way. If you were determined to do so, you could go and watch them in the workplace. You could ask all their friends. In the end, you could text them. The real reason why you go on a date is to give the other person a reason to come back, to treat them well enough that they want to keep coming back. And that you can't do remotely. That's you show up and you give that person an experience that they really appreciate. They feel good about themselves. They're comfortable being in that room. They really feel heard. They feel respected, validated, appreciated, feel understood, and they will keep coming back. And if they keep coming back, there will come a time when they'll say, you know what, I just stay. So the first priority has to be to make sure you understand what it takes to build trust, what it takes to establish a connection with somebody that maybe a few weeks ago you never even heard of. I'll add just one more thing. Dating is a combination of two things: the right person and the right way. Dating the right person and dating in the right way. Unfortunately, people don't realize this. They think if they found somebody suitable, it's going to fall into place. Unfortunately, 50% is the process. I wish it weren't the case. My standard joke is that dating is the absolutely worst way you could find your spouse, with the exception of all other options. If there was another way, I would endorse it, because dating is terrible. It would be so much easier to get to know somebody naturally, organically, and then decide. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And so we're stuck with what we have. And therefore, we should at least do it the right way. Try to think, what contributes to a successful outcome, right? Simple things that people sometimes do organically, do automatically, do instinctively, and that's great. It's best that way. But sometimes people need to be told it's okay to compliment somebody on a date. Oh, she'll think I'm buttering her up. Oh, so what does she think you're coming to insult her? Come on, we all understand this. Make her feel good in an honest way. Don't compliment her about something you don't believe is true. But if she told you about a book recommendation that she'd read and you went and got that book and you enjoyed it, say, what a great book choice. I'm so glad you said that. I couldn't put that book down. It was really great, right? And she'll say, I'm great minds think alike. And so they have a bond because you took the trouble to show kindness, to show caring, to connect in a meaningful way. People don't know to do this often. And they need to be encouraged. That's not faking it. It's just being smart.